Hi, I'm Elijah Fox, pianist, producer, and songwriter, and I aim to inspire other people to find joy by playing the piano. Join me in this beginner piano tutorial. All you'll need is a keyboard or piano to get started. In this lesson, we're going to look at the pentatonic scale and how it can be used for improvisation and creating an effective melody that can work over a chord progression or accompaniment pattern. The pentatonic scale is derived from the major scale, which you should already be familiar with. In this case, we're going to start by looking at the C pentatonic scale, which is a 5-note scale. The C pentatonic scale includes the notes C, D, E, G, and A, or in other words, the first, second, third, fifth, and sixth degrees of the C major scale. It can also be thought of as the C major scale minus the F and the B, or the 4th and 7th degree. The pentatonic scale is an excellent scale for improvising or when choosing notes for a great melody. To start, let's practice the pentatonic scale moving upwards with our right hand. We'll start with the fingerings of 1, 2, 3, then crossing under to 1, 2, crossing under again to C, 1, 2, 3, then crossing under again to G. So we've got C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E. And coming back down, we'll start on C. This fingering is a little bit tricky, so I'll go over it once more. We start with 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then back down 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So, any of the notes from the pentatonic scale will sound great over a chord progression in that corresponding key. So if we're coming up with a chord progression in C major, for example, F major, E minor, D minor, these are all chords that come out of the C major chordal scale. We can use this pentatonic scale to improvise over it. I'll demonstrate a short example. I can go on, but let's now take a pattern with this scale. So we can start by practicing the pentatonic scale in groupings of 3, 4, and 5. For the groupings of 3, we'll start with our thumb on C and we'll go C, D, E, D, E, G, E, G, A, G, A, C, D, and so on. So let's try that. And back down we would have practicing in these patterns can help us when we're improvising because then we have extra ways of moving and we don't just move in the scale and we end up being less likely to get stuck or run out of ideas. These patterns can also be used as a great vehicle for soloing or when composing or using as a fill to play between chords. Now let's look at the grouping of 4 notes. So we'll start on C and we'll move up. We're playing C, D, E, G, D, E, G, A, E, G, A, C, G, A, C, D, A, C, D, E. So let's try that again. And we can also go back down. So that would be Now that we've got those patterns of 3 and 4, I'll try inserting some into the chord progression I was playing to use as improvisational fills. This is a pattern of 3. Now a pattern of 4. Three again. 4. So we can use those patterns when we're soloing or as little fills to fill in the gaps between the chords we're playing. Now, I've practiced these a lot and have gotten them up by using a metronome to a faster tempo where I'm able to play them fluidly. It's important to start slowly and not beat yourself up if you have trouble playing these at first. Now I'm going to demonstrate those same phrases, but a little bit more slowly. All of these phrases are all coming out of this pentatonic scale, which is a 5-note scale. For the next exercise, I like to practice it in the patterns of 5. So we'll start on C and we'll go up using all 5 fingers. C, D, E, G, A, D, E, G, A, C, E, G, A, C, D, and so on. Now we'll demonstrate some patterns of 5 over the same progression. You may notice as you're using the pentatonic scale to solo that you can predict how it's going to sound before you're playing. And this is one of the essential parts of improvisation. When improvising, you want to get to a place where you can almost predict how it's going to sound as you're playing, and so your hand can be thought of as an extension of your mind or a melody that you would sing. Now I'm going to play the same chordal progression, and I'd like you to try improvising using the notes of the C pentatonic scale. C, D, E, G, and A. You can also try using some of these patterns of 3, 4, and 5 to create a spontaneous melody with your improvisation. Remember, there's no right or wrong melody, and as long as you're playing the notes of the C pentatonic scale, you're off to a great start. Here we go. Excellent job! Another great way to practice improvising is you can record yourself playing the accompaniment patterns or chord progressions and then play over it by soloing using the pentatonic scale. Anytime you're learning a new song, you can find what key the song is in, take the major scale, and then find the pentatonic scale by playing the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th scale degree. You can also get comfortable by playing these patterns of 3, 4, and 5 that I've demonstrated in additional keys to get more fluid with the pentatonic scale in every key. So anytime you've got a new song, you can find out what key it's in, find the major scale of that key, and then play the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th degree to find the pentatonic scale. You can also move through the patterns of 3, 4, and 5 in the pentatonic scale in those corresponding keys to get more familiar with it across the piano. To recap, in this lesson we looked at the pentatonic scale, which is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th degrees of the major scale, and how you can use this as a vessel for improvising or coming up with your own melodies. A lot of times when coming up with melodies, a great place to start can be by freestyling or improvising, finding a melody you like and refining it and eventually making it secure. In the next lesson, we're going to be looking at a technique to come up with repeated note phrases or runs, which can be excellent vehicles for improvisation or composing. Thanks for tuning in, and if you'd like to check out more, I have 5 piano classes now available on Skillshare. This learning path will take you from a beginner to someone who's able to improvise, sight read music, and compose their own songs. Click the link below to join me on Skillshare.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our latest videos.